This video is sponsored by Squarespace. All right, let's do this. Let's set up these categories. First category is going to be products under $100. Second category is going to be $250 and under. Category 3, we have $500 under, and category 4, we have $1,000 under and over, of course. What we're going to do is we're going to be looking at drawing tech that is available in each one of those categories and narrow it down to what I think is the best product in each one of those price ranges. We'll start by taking a look at that under $100 category. What kind of drawing tablet are you even able to get for under $100? Well, there's some good ones out there. Now, I'm throwing a lot of products out there, so if you are getting a little bit confused or wondering, where do I find these? Go to my website, brad.site, and I have pages where I compare and rank my favorite drawing tablets, so you can find all the things I'm talking about over there. One thing is that in this range, you aren't going to find a screen tablet to draw on. You're not going to find a Windows tablet. You're not going to find an Android tablet. What you are going to find here are different kinds of graphics tablets. Now, these are the kind of things that sit in front of your computer. They don't have a screen. When you draw on them with the included pen, you see the mark that you're making show up on the screen in front of you. You're going to get some pressure sensitivity to the pen. That means that the harder you press, the more or less transparent your line is, or the wider or thinner your line is going to be. These are pretty simple. They're basically fancy mice. But don't discount these just because they're inexpensive. A lot of pro artists really love these kind of tablets. Not just because they're simple, but also because they're ergonomic and they can get the job done. The downside to these is there is a steeper learning curve here to using one of them. It takes time to get used to drawing this way. You have to build up that eye-hand coordination. Now, these start around $30, but once you get over around, I'd say the $50 mark, you can find some really, really good stuff. There are two that I really like, maybe three. There's the entry-level Wacom Intuos tablet. Now, this one is the cheapest tablet that Wacom makes. It sells for between $70 and $80 US, and I would say it is a really good starter tablet. The drawing area is 6 inches by 3.7 inches, which isn't very big, so even though it's good enough, I think the next one might be a little bit better. This is the Huion HS611. The one I'm showing here is pink. The one I reviewed a while back, that one was blue. It sells for about $80, and so this is about the same price as that Wacom that I was just talking about. The reason I like this one better is that the active drawing area is larger. It's 10 inches by 6 inches, and that may not sound like a very big space to draw on, but that little detail, by almost doubling the size, makes this so much easier to use. Even though when we're talking about pens, I think we can say, hey, that Wacom pen is a little bit better, but I think that drawing area that you get on this tablet just makes it a better buy overall. So if I had to compare those two, I'd say go with the Huion. However, I'm going to throw a third one in here. XP Pen makes a really nice tablet in this price range as well. It's called the XP Pen Deco 01 V2. Now this thing is a lot like Huion's that I just talked about, but it's a little bit cheaper. So you still have that 10 by 6.5 drawing area, but it's coming in at $60. So you're going to end up saving about $20 here. So if you're on a budget, I think this is a really good one to check out. All right, round two. What can we get for under $250? This is where I think things get really interesting, because at this price point, we can now draw directly on a screen. There are a handful of like 12, 13-inch tablets in this price range that you can plug into a laptop or a desktop computer and use that way. And these are really good for the price. Now, they do kind of look like computers, but I want to point out, even though they look like an iPad or an Android tablet, they're not. These are screens that need to be plugged into another computer. Now, there are two that I like. The first one is the XP Pen Artist 13.3, and the second one I like is the Huion Canvas 13. Both of these have the same size screen, and both of these have solid pens. Both of these displays also have shortcut keys. Now, I'm a fan of this because I can set undo or my brush size to those keys, and then I don't have to worry about my keyboard shortcuts quite as much. Also, because these have screens, this is going to be a step up from those graphics tablets. These are generally easier to use. I know that I find it much easier to draw on a screen where I can see the line appearing underneath my pen than it is when I'm just drawing off to the side or drawing in front of my computer and seeing it appear on the screen in front of me. All right, so which one of these two would win this category? Well, there is a dark horse candidate that I threw in that nobody saw coming except me. I saw it coming because I wrote the list. The other option that you can often find for just around $250 is the Galaxy Tab S6 Lite. Sometimes you'll find it for about $300, but often it will drop below $250. And what this is it's an Android tablet. It comes with a pen. The pen doesn't cost anything extra, and you're getting a full-blown Android tablet. So this thing doesn't need to be plugged into a computer. It doesn't need to be plugged into the wall, except when you're recharging it. You can use all of those great Android drawing apps out there for it. So this thing, I think, is a tremendous value and is one of the best values in drawing tech out there right now. Even though nowadays it's about 2 years old, it's running older hardware, I still think it's a really good value for the price. The one downside of going with an Android tablet, however, is that it doesn't have the same art apps that you're going to find on a PC. It's not going to be quite as robust, even though there's some really good stuff out there for it. For some people, it's just not going to be the fit that they're looking for. Now, before we get to the next category, I do want to shout out today's sponsor, Squarespace. You already know Squarespace can build you a great website, but they also give you all the tools you need to take your business to the next level. Start by checking out all of the insights available in their analytics. Learn where your site visits and sales are coming from, and analyze which channels are the most effective. Improve your website and build marketing strategy based on top keywords and the most popular products and content. Squarespace also provides SEO tools. Every Squarespace website and online store comes with a whole suite of integrated features and useful guides that help maximize prominence among search results. And of course, you can stand out in any inbox with Squarespace's email campaigns. Collect email subscribers and convert them into loyal customers. Start with an email template and customize it by applying your brand ingredients like the colors and your logo. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/BradColbo to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. All right, round 3, we're going to be looking at stuff that is under $500. So here we go. We're getting into the higher end display tablets now. The Huion Canvas 16 is a really good option at $400. In fact, Huion makes a new version of this that has a 2.5K screen. That's a higher density pixel screen that looks so much better. That's coming in around this price point as well. Now, 16 inches is one of my favorite sizes to draw on. And the reason for that is when you're drawing on a PC, oftentimes like your interface stuff will take up a lot of space. So the smaller your screen is, the harder it is to hit some of those interface points and the less room you have for actually drawing on the canvas. Also at this price level, we have our first iPad. Now the entry-level iPad starts at $329, but you also have to factor in the fact that the Apple Pencil, which you're definitely going to want, costs $100 more. So the real cost here of that base level iPad is about $429. You also might be thinking, the base level iPad, I don't know if that's powerful enough, but it really is. There are definitely some benefits to moving up to the iPad Air. The Apple Pencil 2 just charges better. It's more convenient. You have more RAM, so you're able to make bigger pieces of artwork, that sort of thing. However, I think for people who are just starting out, it's fine. It's going to get the job done. Now, what about Windows tablets? This is the price range where you're going to see some Windows tablets start to sneak in there. I would say stay away from Windows tablets in this price range. Unlike Android and iPads in this price range, Windows tablets here are going to be underpowered for a lot of what you want to do. And since everything that I've tested under like the $900, $800 range for Windows tablets just is far underpowered, I would say stay away from them if this is your price range. So I'm going to say that the winner here is the iPad, but I think once you hit that $500 mark, anything that you're going to get, you're probably going to end up loving. There are some really good options in this category. I chose the iPad just because I think it's so much fun to draw on. I was talking about that Galaxy Tab a little bit earlier and how cool it is to like pinch and zoom and tap to undo. The iPad is like that, except I like the art apps better. But like that Android tablet I mentioned before, it's not for everybody. If you need the Adobe suite, if you need full Photoshop, that sort of thing, this probably isn't going to be the right thing for you, but if you're just starting out, it's a great value. All right, we're jumping into round 4 here. We have $1,000. Now, strangely enough, this is the hardest category for me because there's so much to choose from. You could go grab an 11-inch iPad Pro, or you could get one of Huion or XP Pen's giant 21-inch displays. You have the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 and the Tab S8 Plus. Those are both fantastic tablets. If you want to go a little over $1,000, you can get the bigger version, the Ultra. And like I said before, this is the price range where you can even start to find some really nice Windows computer. Samsung just released their Galaxy Book 2 360 laptop, which folds around and becomes like a form factor tablet. It's super light. That one, the non-Pro one, starts at $900 and it doesn't come with the S Pen, so you're going to have to factor in maybe $30, $40 extra for that. The Surface Pro 8 also starts around $1,000. However, the one thing you should take into consideration there is that it doesn't come with the keyboard cover. That costs extra. Also, the Surface Pen Slim, which is the one I would definitely recommend, that costs $80 to $100 more as well. So, once you get into that Surface line, you are getting more expensive, even though that is a really great computer to draw on. If you do want to go over $1,000, you could start looking at some of Wacom's things. I reviewed the Wacom Cintiq Pro 16 a few months ago. That's a really good tablet. That's also very much on the pricey side. Wacom also makes a giant 27-inch or 32-inch version of that as well. That's very expensive. And of course, you have a whole smattering of Windows laptops that are over that price range as well. Now, the reason this category for me is so hard to decide is I think when we're talking about price and fit, it's really hard to figure out and say this is the perfect product for you, because once you get into this price range, you have options. And I think this is the area where you kind of have to decide for yourself, what do I need? Am I going to be using Photoshop, in which case you have to go Windows? Or do I need a super high-powered iPad, in which case you go the iPad route? Or maybe you hate Apple, but you like the idea, then you go the Android route. Maybe you want to draw on Windows, but you don't need something portable, then you go with those larger screened Huion or XP Pen tablets. I think, just like the last category, once you get up to this price range, for the most part, everything is pretty good. Some of the Windows tablets are still going to be low powered. However, any iPad, Android, or drawing display that you get in this price range is going to be really good, and you're going to be really happy with it. But since we're talking about value with price, I'm going to light up the comment section and say my winner this time is going to be the iPad Air. Now, I mentioned the iPad Pro just a minute ago. However, the iPad Air's just been updated. It has the M1 processor, same processor as the iPad Pro. The 11-inch iPad Pro also doesn't have the high-end screen, so this has a very similar screen to what you find on that 11-inch Pro. Going to run the same apps, you're going to get the same performance. You aren't going to get the same refresh rate, so you're going to be losing a little bit of performance there. But if you check out my review, I talk about that a little bit. It doesn't really affect pen lag or drawing performance at all. And so where we stand now, kind of at the middle point of 2022, I think that's the best value for this category. So those are my lists. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments, which one would you choose? Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.